Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to my very first video blog ever. This is a new experience for me, sitting here staring at a computer at 12:30 at night, Pacific Standard Time, in my apartment in Los Angeles, watching myself talk on a screen. It's a little bizarre. This is an experiment for me. I am creating a bit of a birthday present for my mother. If you hadn't read in my written blog post earlier, my mother has been very ill the last couple months with a combination of a lot of health issues, most of which have been pretty life impacting. And consequently, she's been stuck at home. And my mom is one of my best friends. She's who I talk to every day. And it's been a little difficult for me not being able to talk to my mom, and for my mom having to go through all of this. And I live 1,000 miles from my mother. She lives in Missouri. I live in California. And, I can't do a ton to make her every day more cheerful. So I said, well, I could blog about the crazy things I've been doing. Maybe she'll find that amusing. So this is where the video blog comes in. I am planning a trip to New York City. I've never been. I'm very excited. In all of my 38 years, I have never ever been to New York City. And this has been a kind of whirlwind, surprise, guess where I'm going, guys, type of trip. A month ago, I was not thinking about going to New York City, and yet this happened. And you ask yourself, how did you just up and decide you were going to New York City? Well, I kind of fell in love with a certain musical. Yeah, I did. To begin with, you probably should know I'm a PhD student in history, primarily Roman history, and my PhD studies are actually in 2nd century North African Christianity, because let's be specific here, that's what us historians like to do. In working on my final papers, I was sort of spinning my wheels a little bit because I was not interested in the subjects I actually took last semester. That happens sometimes in school. You just have to take classes you're not very interested in them, but you got to do it, and you got to do it well. And I was trying to find motivation, and I had, of course, heard of Hamilton. Yes, it's Hamilton. Last fall. How could I not have heard about it? I was raised on a steady diet of American history from my father, who was himself an amateur historian, and as well as musicals. Many movie musicals. And so Hamilton had hit my radar, but I just had not had time to listen to the soundtrack. I work full time. I'm a PhD student. Girl ain't got no time. So my friends actually were the ones who were raving about it and like, oh my gosh, Hamilton, do you like hip hop? I'm like, did I grow up in the 90s? Yeah. You got to listen to this. I'm like, I got grown up responsibilities. I don't got no time for this. No. You gotta listen to this. I'm like, okay. So I started kind of poking around when I was working on my paper. Well, I should say I started poking around instead of working on my papers. Let's be honest on how this actually was working. And I think my shot is the only reason I got through my Karl Marx paper, to be brutally honest, because I don't care about Karl Marx. I really don't. I know I should. As a person who works in the social sciences and humanities, I should care, and I just don't. And if I didn't have that song, I probably would never have made it through that paper. So I kind of completely fell fell head over heels in love with this musical. And was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to go see it in New York? Ha 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 ha. And then I got to talking to my old roommate. As you can guess from this time of night, I don't live with anyone right at the moment. But I used to have a roommate. And I haven't been in contact with her much this year because school's just been eating me alive. But she contacted me just to say, hey, how's it going? You know, around Easter time, she was just trying to gauge, am I alive? Do I need to have care packages thrown in? Do I need to have someone come poke me with a stick? She knows how it is once I hit finals. And I said, oh, I'm alive. But guess what? I've discovered this crazy musical. And she's like, oh, I saw it on 60 Minutes. Mind you, I don't think I've seen 60 Minutes since I was 12. And that wasn't voluntary. I was like, wow, you've heard of it. And she goes, yeah, it sounds amazing. Like, well, I had this kind of crazy idea, but you should know I'm in the middle of finals. So anything I say cannot be held against me because I'm a little sleep deprived and quite possibly should not be driving right now. And she's like, whoa, what's that? And I'm like, I want to go see this play. She's like, really? Yeah. I've always wanted to go to New York. Think this is a good idea? Yeah, let's do it. So in the middle of a sleep-deprived haze in which I don't think I'd had more than 4 hours in like 3 days, Linda and I decided we were going to go to New York to watch Hamilton. The single most difficult ticket to get in the entire country. Mind you, I'm a poor PhD student who works a full-time job. She works as a contract worker for a life coaching company. Neither of us makes a ton of money, but we thought this was a brilliant idea. I think what was more disturbing is we continue to think this was a brilliant idea. It was not fostered, it was not helped by the fact that I was over there just like listening to every song, parsing every little bit of lyric and going, oh my God, I can't, can you believe it? And they did this and they did this and they made a song and oh! And Linda doesn't get 3/4 of why I'm terribly excited about this. She just doesn't. I'm over there getting giddy. I'm singing Wait For It in the top of my lungs in my car, which, hello, by the way, I do a darn good job in my car. And she's just wanting an experience in New York City she's never been either. And I wanted to go see this musical. So this is how this entire trip happened. And we won't discuss how much I paid for those tickets, but it makes me want to cry. But it's worth it. I have never been to New York City. You know, my dad's family is all originally from New Jersey, so my dad had been several times, but no one else I know in my family has been to New York City, and I always promised myself one day I wanted to go. I wanted to go to New York City. I wanted to at least have a passing glance at Brooklyn because Dad lived there for 5 minutes when he was about 3, and I'm a Dodger fan, so hey Brooklyn. And I wanted to see a Broadway show, and I wanted to go to the Metropolitan Museum. That's pretty much what I wanted to do with my life, was see a Broadway show, go to the Metropolitan Museum, wave at Brooklyn. Yeah, and now I get to go. I get to go do all those things. I'm going to go see a Broadway show. I'm going to go to the Metropolitan Museum. I'm going to wave at Brooklyn and think of my dad, and who is no longer with us, but probably would be like, I can't believe you're doing this trip, and you're kind of insane. Let's not discuss what he would say about Hamilton. That'll be a whole other blog post. Believe me, that one's coming, because that would be funny. But yeah, it was such an impromptu kind of plan. I had no idea I was going to just pick up and go to New York City and go hang out and, have adventures. It's perhaps the craziest plan I've had, and this should probably be proof positive. I should not be allowed to make major life decisions when I've been writing finals papers and have had no sleep. Which you think that go without saying, but hasn't stopped me in the past. Um, it's not the most crazy thing I've done in my life. It's more crazy than when I went to Rome to study abroad. It's less crazy than when I decided to move to Los Angeles from small town Missouri. So, to be fair, it is not the most crazy thing I've ever done, but it's still pretty high up there. And I'm really excited. I'm so excited I can't see straight. I don't know what I'll do in a city that big. I mean, yes, I live in LA, but if you've ever been to LA, LA's not New York. LA is chill and laid back and, spread out. We have our little downtown that you can see for miles and miles, and that's all the tall buildings that there is in LA because we're afraid of earthquakes. It's just the way it is. And I've never been in a place like Manhattan before. My concept of New York City is somehow an amalgamation of every superhero movie that's ever been, combined with The Godfather, combined with West Side Story. That's pretty much how I view New York. And then the stories of my friends who are from New York, who all are like, it's a great city, and I'm going, yeah, but it's cold there in the winter, and there's lots of people. I don't know how I like this. So, it'll be definitely eventually the biggest thing I've ever done, and so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to eating a slice of New York pizza, which I can get out here, but it's never quite the same, so I've been told. And eating a hot dog. I don't know why. I'm like, well, people just eat hot dogs in New York. Obviously, that's all you ever eat. And I look forward to being on Broadway, because as much as I wanted to be on Broadway when I was younger, this is indeed the only time I will be on Broadway. And planning on seeing 2 shows there. Not just Hamilton, probably Les Mis as well. Just couldn't turn that one down. And let me tell you, Les Mis is way cheaper than Hamilton. I could probably get into Les Mis for, only 4 or 5 Hamiltons, unlike Hamilton. Just tooling around, seeing what there is to be seen, and getting to know this amazing American city that has just never figured in my life up until this point. I've been to a lot of places. I live in LA. Kansas City's my hometown. Not really, but I call it my hometown. I go to Kansas City all the time. St. Louis is half my family lives there. New Orleans I've been to, but that's it. So I get to now add New York City to that list. I'm really excited. It's going to be great. And I will take lots of video when I'm there, and lots of pictures, and hopefully I won't embarrass myself terribly. And I can't guarantee I won't get lost, because that's going to happen. I will be lost somewhere going, I don't know where the hell I am. Can somebody please get me to Madison Square Garden? Because Angelino here, there's no Thomas Guide that I can look at. That's totally an Angelina reference. And yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a little crazy. Anyway, it is now almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I have work at 8 a.m. Yay. So I just wanted to say I love you, Mom, and hope you enjoy these videos. And I will fill you in on more details of my trip as we go along. So enjoy. Bye.